Around Chantal.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone. As a preliminary matter, this is Chantal Murphy, Director of Culture and Tourism, supporting staff to the local cultural council. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Emma Young?
Here.
Michael Kopko?
Here.
Barbara Tibbetts?
Here.
Bethany Oliver?
Yes.
And Sarah Ellis.
Here.
Thank you all and welcome. And staff, I'm the only staff, so Chantal Murphy here, and anticipated speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. Megan Trudell.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Megan. Thanks for joining us. So good afternoon. This open meeting of the Nantucket Cultural Council is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state. Oh gosh. Anyway, it's updated since then. In order to mitigate the transmission of blah, 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 blah. We've gone through all of that. For this meeting, the Nantucket Cultural Council is convening by video conference via Zoom, as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All of the materials for this meeting, except any executive session materials, which we are not going into executive session, have been public so that folks can follow along. And my dog just started barking. This is why you don't do these things from home. And we're going to turn to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down in the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will first ask members of the public who wish to speak to identify their name and address only. Once the chair has a list of all public commentators, she will call on them by name and afford 3 minutes for any comment. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. And I see Ava in the waiting room, and I'm going, Ava, can you hear us? Nope, still connecting audio. Can you hear us, Ava?
Yes, sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late, guys.
No worries. Thanks for joining us. All right, Emma, I'm turning it over to you.
Thanks, Shanta. So we're just going to start with approval of or discussion on the minutes from November and December that Shanta sent out. Did anyone want to comment on any of the minutes? I just noticed on the December minutes, when it talks about the previous minutes we approved, it says May twice. So I think it was April, May, and June. But it says April, May, and May.
Thanks for catching that, Emma. I will make that change, but you can still make the motion pending that that change as well.
Okay. Did anyone else have any comments on the minutes?
Move approval of both with that change just outlined.
Okay, I think, do we have to do one at a time because of certain people were there?
Move approval of the November minutes with the change. Or without that, any change.
Second.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just roll call to approve those. Barbara,
Excuse me, Emma, I'm sorry. Is
Yeah.
it helpful if I just tell you who was present at those meetings?
oh yeah, that would be great.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, so for the November meeting, we had Ava, Emma, Barbara, and Michael.
Okay, so can Sarah second that motion?
No,
Okay. So Michael has a motion on the table to approve the November minutes. So
Barbara,
am I
Ava,
allowed to
you
say
wanted
okay.
I heard my name, but what'd you say?
we need one of you to second the motion for
Oh,
the
second the
November
motion.
minutes.
Second, sorry.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna do a roll call to approve the November minutes. So Barbara,
Here.
Michael,
I,
Ava,
Present.
and Emma, I. Okay, so the November minutes are approved. And then do you mind just saying who was at the December meeting?
Not at all. So we had Ava, Emma, Barbara, Bethany, Mike, all of you were there.
So I'll make a motion to approve the December minutes, pending the change that was discussed earlier. April, May, and June.
second,
Okay, and then I'll just do a roll call for approval. Barbara,
Yep, here.
Michael,
I,
Bethany,
Yes.
Ava,
Present.
and Sarah,
Yes.
and Emma, I. Okay, great. So those are approved. So next on the agenda, we have Megan Trudell here from, let's see, Nantucket Planning and Economic Development Committee.
Commission. Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Okay. The floor is yours. She's got a little presentation for us.
Thanks for having me here today. Just really informal. I don't have a formal presentation or PowerPoint or anything like that prepared. My name is Megan. I'm the senior planner for the town of Nantucket, and I serve as a staff person to the Nantucket Planning and Economic Development Commission, or NPNEDC. So I'm not sure, I guess, before I dive too much into why I'm here, how familiar you all are with the commission and the role that the commission plays. The commission is our regional planning agency. We are one of 13 agencies throughout the state of Massachusetts. We're also the only one that is only has one community within the regional planning agency. The NPNEDC was founded in the early 1970s, really as a mechanism to facilitate some state grants, transportation related funding primarily. So that was kind of the principal purpose as to why they were initiated back then. Recently, in the past couple of years, there have been some citizen petitions to change the composition, among other things, of the commission, which has prompted the commission to do a bit of an internal evaluation of their processes, their membership, their mission, their vision, things of that nature. So it's been an ongoing exercise for the better part of a year. They've updated their vision, their mission, really tried to modernize some things that relate more to today's time, not the early 1970s. And their most recent meetings have been focused on the membership composition. Currently, or am I getting ahead of myself? Do you all know how the membership is comprised presently? Sort of. Okay, so it's an 11-member commission. The five elected planning board members sit on the commission. We have one representative from the county commissioners appointed by the county commissioners annually. So those are the 5 select board members. They're one of the same. We have a member from, or representative from the Housing Authority, which is Housing Authority is an elected position. They appoint one member to the commission annually. So that's 5, 6, 7. We have 3 at-large appointments that the commission appoints on a 3-year term cycle. So someone's term is up every year. And then why am I blanking on the 11th? We have the NHA County Commissioner, Conservation Commission. They're appointed by Conservation commission is appointed by the select board, and then the commission appoints one of their members annually to the NP and EDC. So where the NP and EDC is landing presently with what they want to move forward with a proposal of membership composition is focusing on more on sectors. And one sector that they felt was missing from the composition of our current membership is someone from the arts and culture. So they wanted to bring forward the idea of maybe having you all be the appointing authority for that sector of membership. And before they pursued it further, or kind of talked about how that may come to fruition, whether it's one of you all that appoint internally, or perhaps screen applicants of interested parties outside of your committee, how that all would work. They wanted to see if there would be any interest to move forward with that thought.
No,
Barbara, you can go ahead.
I'm new to the council, but I think that's a great idea. Because I think that Nantucket, it's all about the culture, so that would be a great fit.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm interested, but obviously Michael looks like he wants to say something, so I'll be quiet.
Oh, I don't want to interrupt. I served on the commission back when I was a county commissioner. And I'm for one, I'm really pleased with the proposed makeup of the commission. I think it's a really good idea. It's nothing against the planning board, but I think having a more diverse constitution of the commission is a really good idea.
Mhm.
Obviously, the cultural sector of the island is vital to not just the economy, but the health of the community, the year-round community at large. So I think this is a great idea. We should probably talk about, it was interesting, Megan, that you suggested that the possibility that we might be the appointing authority, but be able to appoint someone outside of the membership of the council. Because as you know, everyone on Nantucket is very busy all the time and all that stuff. And I can tell you that having served on the commission, there's a workload involved. There's a commitment there, attending meetings and reading a lot of important documentation and stuff. So, but I think it's a great idea, and I hope we can kind of talk through how we might get a member on that commission. And I think it's a great idea that this committee be suggested as the appointing authority.
How often does the committee meet?
The commission meets once a month. Typically, they try to meet the third Monday of the month, but there's a lot of Monday holidays, as we found. So sometimes it's the fourth Monday of the month.
And then, so it's sort of like time-wise commitment, like this is, except for there's more documents to read, Michael?
Yeah, one thing I found serving on the select board and the county commission and on the NPNEDC was it was really important to study all of the documentation that's provided in your packet, because I often found that the most pertinent thing we needed to talk about was on page 17 of one document in the packet. So the workload is the meetings are great, but that's only once a month. But being able to effectively discuss and ruminate on what the commission is doing really requires, paying close attention to the documentation that's provided.
So maybe 2-3 hours kind of thing to read the documentation each month?
I would say that's a fair assessment. It's right now where the commission's actively going through this process of potentially changing their enabling legislation. So that in and of itself has been a massive workload. But otherwise, they're looking at more of facilitating long-range planning through area plans. They may have guest speakers from different town boards, committees, commissions, department heads, depending on what's going on in that time of year. They focus heavily on transportation related initiatives, so grant funding from the state, long range planning with the transportation. So that's kind of the focus of the NP and EDC presently. And that, may broaden depending on if we broaden the composition of who's involved as members of the commission, which is the goal.
Yeah, and can I just say too, there is a lot of, hopefully there will be a lot more long-range planning involved with the NPDC, so that, vision casting is a really important part of the job too, thinking ahead about funding, about infrastructure around culture, about collaboration between organizations and institutions, things like that. And having the cultural community involved in that process, I think is a great idea.
I agree. Yeah. What little I know about that, yes, I agree. We can all work together. It's just gonna be better for everybody.
So Megan, it sounds like there's a couple of options for us on the table.
Yep. I think the commission's in their preliminary phase of establishing this membership. So I think that's great to know that you all as a council are very interested in moving forward. And I think kind of as we move forward and navigate through this process, we can hammer out more details on how we appoint that specific individual. So that's really great.
Can I ask a question too, Megan? And I don't want to get into the kind of granular politics of this, but I know that members of the current NPDC are not that supportive of the new process for the constitution of the commission, and I think there's an effort to sort of indicate to the state that they're working toward achieving some of these goals with the current method of constituting the commission. Is there, do we know whether the new constitution process is actually going to happen yet?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I know that it went through, so this was the citizen petition. So any changes in the composition, the membership has to go through a legislative change, either directly to the state or by way of a home rule petition, which is the avenue that the citizen took to create a proposed home rule petition. So that is going through the legislative process right now. Whether that's gonna pan out, it's hard to say at this point. And I think the planning commission feels strongly that, the year before that, the directive was to kind of go through this process, and they've taken that seriously, and I think have made some really positive progress. So regardless of what the outcome is there, I think they're going to continue to run through this track and really have a lot of public engagement and really keep these conversations going.
And is it likely that regardless of which way the commission is constituted, that there will be a cultural seat on the commission?
I don't believe that was a part of the citizen home rule petition. I don't believe so.
So this is coming from the commission as part of their process
Exactly.
to indicate that they'd like to keep the constitution system the way it is, but with some modification.
Exactly. They recognize that there really haven't been any substantive changes to really anything, the membership or how the processes work out, or there's been minor legislative changes throughout the year, but nothing of too much substance. So they're really trying to modernize things and really do some self-evaluation. So that's how they came to this kind of sector focus, and they realized that arts and culture is something that's really important to this island, and there's not a seat on the commission for that specifically. So
would this be one of the at-large seats would be designated as a cultural seat?
let me and I have a spreadsheet here from our last commission meeting. So where they discussed increasing the membership, actually, I believe, to a 13-member composition. So this is where they're tracking. Nothing's official at this point, but this is kind of where they all could agree on at the last meeting in December. And the commission will be meeting again on January 22nd. So they landed, I believe, on a 13-member composition. They want to keep the at-large seats to 3. They want to reduce the planning board seats from 5 to 3. And they want to incorporate certain sectors. So an environmental sector beyond the Conservation Commission, perhaps a business sector. So I know Leslie Snell had a conversation with the Chamber of Commerce, and they were supportive of being the appointing authority if we move forward with a business sector. There was discussion about, instead of being just the housing authority as a representative, why not have the housing authority be the appointing authority for housing related person? They can funnel their applications and appointment through that. So anyone involved in the housing sector. And there was also discussion too, do we need to talk about social services as a sector, or all sorts of different things where we can broaden who the membership may be. So then when you're talking sectors, it's really then who's the appointing authority when you go down that path.
Well, this is great news. I mean, again, I don't want to get into the granular politics of it, but one of the reasons that the citizens petition has come forward is that there was a feeling that the planning board had an inordinate effect on the commission's work and decision making, whether or not that's true. But dividing things up this way, clearly they're being very responsive to the concerns that have been raised.
I agree.
That's very encouraging.
All right, so that is great. I'll report back to our chair, Mary Longacre, and Leslie Snell, our director of Plus, that we should keep moving in this direction, and including arts and culture as a potential sector of membership, that you all have interest in pursuing that further.
Thank you so much, Megan.
Thanks for having me today.
Ask one last question.
Thank you.
Megan, is there a kind of timeline that you'd like to hear back from us about this, or?
I think we should stay in touch for sure. I know, in speaking with Mary and Leslie, they want to come up with a timeline to present to the commission on this process moving forward for hopefully our next meeting. So I think after I have a chance to speak with the two of them, I may have a better sense on how this may track moving forward in terms of timing.
Because our next meeting is scheduled for April 1st.
Okay.
But would it be sufficient at this point to let the commission know that yes, we're interested and we're going to be talking about how to go forward?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys. Very nice to meet all of you.
Thanks,
You
Megan.
too. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Thank you all for listening to that and letting it percolate. I don't see anyone else from the public, so we can go past public comment section. And next would be an update on the grant cycle. Shanta, do you want to update on that? I can say that Ava and Shanta and I met, and we're able to notify the applicants who we decided not to fund. And then the 15 days has passed, and I haven't heard from anyone. Shanta, did you send out approvals, or were you going to work with Ava on that?
I didn't send out approvals yet. I wanted to meet with you guys first, just to make one, I wanted the 15 days to pass. And now that that's done and there's officially nothing in there. All it is, I can just submit the approvals if that's okay with you. The rest of my week is insane, so I won't have time for meetings. And then I'll just get started on the contracts with finance.
Yeah, so this year we switched from the reimbursement grant system to the direct grant. So, Bethany, I think you know because you were a grant awardee, but Barbara, I'll let you know too that the way it used to work is we would say, okay, yes, you've been approved. And on the online system for Mass Cultural, we could put approved, but then we also sent out a personal email saying your project has been approved for this much, and then attached a form to fill out for when the project was complete. They had to submit for reimbursement. And this year we're switching to a direct grant system. So we're going to have a contract for each grantee that they can sign and say, yes, I'm going to use the funds for this project. And then we can just cut them the check for that. So Chantal will work on those and we'll get that out to everyone to sign and get back to us.
Yes, and they do still have to do a year-end report, but it's going to be a lot simpler. And it's just submitting invoices and photos or videos from the events, but I think it's gonna be well received. You can imagine.
And then an update on the 2023 cycle is I have received all of the reimbursement paperwork, including from Small Friends who we granted an extension. So they actually were able to get their project completed in 2023. And then I'm just waiting on some clarifying questions from the community school, but they did submit. So that's really great that everyone submitted and will get their funding for their 2023 projects. And then Ava's going to work on getting some more photos, but some of them have sent along photos, which is nice. So we can use that for publication and marketing stuff later on. Michael's got his check right there. Proof. Does anyone have any questions on that?
I did receive the rejection. Chantal, did you receive my email?
If you sent it, it's in my inbox.
Okay. I'm just
I'm
want to
working
make,
my way through.
I just wanted to make sure that I just sent you an email to say, can we set up a time to talk? That's all.
Okay, gotcha.
So you can ignore the email and just set up a time to talk. I'm pretty much around for the
Okay.
annual break.
Okay, it probably won't be till next week.
That's fine.
I don't even have time to
Whatever
eat
works,
this week
whatever
on my
works for you.
calendar. Okay, great.
Oh, I get it. I know all the stuff you were involved in, so I totally get it. But I'm pretty much around all next week, so.
Okay, awesome.
Until the weekend.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a time. Thanks,
Okay,
Barbara.
great. That was my only question.
Does anyone have any other business? Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch back on the NP and EDC issue. If we hear back from them between now and our next meeting, I would hope that we would put something on the agenda for that meeting to discuss how we might go forward with this. You know, having the cultural community have a seat at that table is a really big deal. And raises the profile of the cultural community on the island significantly. And also that there are ways into, funding through the NP and EDC that we might not even be aware of that can be really helpful too. So pending, Emma, I guess it's up to you, but pending any communication from them between now and the next meeting, I would hope that that would be an agenda item.
Yeah, I think Chantal will be in touch with Megan or the other way around. It sounds like Megan's going to report back on that. And if they want to go forward with utilizing us for making appointments, then yeah, definitely we'll add that to our next agenda. And if we needed to do a special meeting in between, then I'm sure we could figure something out.
That's why I was gonna say, should we really wait until April 1st? If they're interested in getting going on it, should we wait that long?
Right now, it sounds to me like the ball is in their court, and she was just putting some feelers out. So I'm gonna leave
Okay.
that up to Megan, and yeah, I think she'll reach out to Shanta when she has more information or needs more from us.
Got it. Okay.
And just to be thinking ahead a little bit, Barbara, your questions about what the workload and stuff were really good questions. Ideally, it would be great to have a member of the council appointed to that commission. But I just want, as we think about it, over the next couple of months, in the event that we don't have someone on the commission, actual members of the council who want to take that on, we might want to consider the option of being able to appoint someone from outside the council.
I'm interested in learning more about it. And that's why I said, once a month and a few hours to prep, I can do that.
Yeah.
But if it was like
Ideally,
if it was every week, that would be a different story. But once a month and a couple hours to prep, I'm interested. I mean, I've been living here now full-time for 3 years, but been on the island a long time. But when you're a summer person, you don't get involved in a lot of stuff. You know about things, but you don't get in, you don't get into it. Now I go to meetings, select board meetings and things like that because I really want to learn. I want to help this island keep the beautiful place that it is. So I am interested in that.
That's awesome to hear, Barbara. And I mean, I'm sure you know, but you could probably go to any of their open meetings or reach out to Mary Longacre too.
Okay, that's a good idea. I will do that just to learn more.
Yeah.
I'll put that on my list.
Any other business? Okay. So our next meeting scheduled for Monday, April 1st at 4 p.m. Does that still work for everyone as of right now?
I think I'll be on island. But I'm sure I can do, I could do remote. The Mass Governors Conference is on travel and tourism is April 2nd. I imagine Shanta is probably going to be there too. Maybe we'll have to travel together.
Yeah, worst case, I'll travel up a little earlier. That way I can join via Zoom. But yeah, I'll be there.
Have you gotten any more information about it?
No, they said they'll send something out later this month, but we're gonna have to hop on those tickets quickly.
Yeah,
First time in however many years.
Right. I mean, that's the other thing I do. That's my publishing business is that involvement.
Oh,
But
nice.
it fits with this well too. Yeah, you make a lot of great contacts at that conference.
It'll be my first time.
Oh, it
Since
is?
my involvement, my official involvement in tourism and the business world, it hasn't been happening. So I'm really excited. I've heard so much about it.
I'm gonna say like 4 or 5 years ago, right? 4 years ago they did it. I can't remember. I lived outside of Boston, so it was a very easy thing for me to do. And yeah, I definitely made a lot of contacts then. So
Are you going to? Oh, never mind. We'll talk about this offline. Sorry.
So I'll be going in wearing 2 hats. That's what we'll be having.
Well, you guys want to adjourn? I don't think there's anything else.
I would move adjournment.
Second, sorry. It's like, wait a minute. I'm looking for a second now.
Thank you. Do I need to roll call for that?
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. Barbara?
Here.
Michael?
Aye.
Bethany?
Yes.
Ava? You're muted still. We just need a...
I know, here, sorry.
Oh, thanks. And Sarah?
Yes, thank you.
And Emma, aye. All right, thank you guys.
Everybody stay safe this week with all the
Have
wind.
have a good winter break.
Yes, bye.
Bye, everyone.